Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions for the 12 zodiac signs. On September 17, we have the eclipse in conjunction to Neptune in the sign of Pisces, and it's very meaningful for all of us, especially because this eclipse is receiving positive aspects from Uranus and Pluto, which are both outer planets, generational planets that indicate important breakthroughs for all of us. Not only is this eclipse in conjunction to Neptune, but it's also happening between Neptune and Saturn. So the influence of Saturn could very well be felt during this eclipse. Another important transit that we have going on during the eclipse is the opposition between Saturn in Pisces at 15 degrees and Mercury at 14 degrees in the sign of Virgo. So important things are happening for all of us. Before I start with the 12 zodiac signs, please keep in mind that I'm a Western astrologer and I follow tropical zodiac. Now, without further ado, let's start with the 12 zodiac signs. Hello, Aries, suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions for the 12 zodiac signs. On September 17, the eclipse is happening at 25 degrees in conjunction to Neptune in your 12th house. For a lot of you Aries, this indicates opportunities to rest and go on vacation, especially to faraway places, and to spend some time in solitude, spend some time resting and kind of hidden away from people that know you. You may be recovering from something, you may be spending time a lot by yourself. This can also indicate breakthrough and revelation when it comes to your spirituality, when it comes to religious beliefs that you have, but especially the connection that you have with other dimensions, with the creator, with God, with the universe. For a lot of you, this can bring a lot of aha moments and deeper understanding about life, and also understanding the joy of life, because Neptune that is involved here at a higher vibration talks about happiness, talks about being grateful, even though nothing big is happening. It just makes you very happy, it makes you connect to the source more. And so for a lot of you Aries, you may have some important understanding here when it comes to the universe, to God, to the creator, that expands your horizons and your understanding about life in general. The 12th house is also the house that deals with helping people of more difficult background, people who are suffering, the poor, migrants, being a hospital worker, prison worker, psychologist also. So if you are in any of these industries, then there is a breakthrough happening here. There's an indication that you may have some changes in your career, at your job, at your work, that are very necessary and can give you a bigger picture of what is about to come for a lot of you Aries. Now, the conjunction here to Neptune could also indicate illusion, confusion, deception being lifted off, especially if you've been dealing with mental issues. Neptune here can indicate that all of this is being removed and things are getting clearer for you, for your mind, for your understanding in general. The 12th house sometimes is referred to the subconscious mind. So, again, if you have been dealing with some mental issue, then things can get better for you. Now, for others of you Aries, the eclipse could bring some challenges when it comes to the mental health. So please be aware of that. Take care of your physical body, take care of your health. Let's not forget that the eclipse is happening at the 12th house, but it's opposite the 6th house, which is your physical health and physical body. I don't want to scare you. I myself am a Taurus rising, so I just went through this eclipses in the 12th house, and honestly for me, I've just gained a lot of understanding about life, about spirituality. I've had days that have been an absolute bliss, and I've also had difficult days too, and especially with work. So this is something that I want to highlight for you Aries. I've changed jobs like 4 times this entire year, and another reason for that is because Pluto is entering my 10th house of career, so I expected to have a lot of changes and transformation when it comes to that. But generally speaking, eclipses in the 12th house are also known for changing jobs multiple times, or having opportunities to rest a bit more. And some of us, don't look at that as a rest, but this is why we have astrology, to understand things deeper and realize that certain things happen because of certain transits. And for you, again, you may have great opportunities to rest a bit more and to have more time to really connect to the source, connect to God, to get a deeper meaning about life and about creation and about the universe and all of these things. And for you, Aries, this is specifically stronger because there is a conjunction to Neptune, as I mentioned. However, there is still an opportunity to take some practical approaches when it comes to your 12th house matters. And that is because the eclipse is happening between Neptune and Saturn. So the influence of Saturn can also be felt with this eclipse. So there's a need for some of you Aries to be more practical in the way how you approach to spirituality, to have your spiritual routines, the way how you meditate, you do yoga, you go to church, you practice religion, you go to mosques, you do all these things when it comes to spirituality. For others of you, this can indicate practical and down-to-earth steps and realistic steps when it comes to healing yourself from mental problems that you may have had, that you have been struggling for a while. Saturn here wants a lot of your Aries to understand that you can heal from these things, and you need to take practical steps and embrace reality for what it is, so that you can kind of heal yourself from all these things. And the thing is that for you Aries, Neptune is leaving the 12th house next year, and especially in 2026. So you're having a lot of important changes associated with your 12th house matters. It indicates endings, a lot of endings actually for you with the eclipse here. And again, they're going to be highlighted even more next year in 2026. But for this eclipse, this could be the beginning of a major ending for a lot of you. And another reason for that is because the eclipse is a full moon eclipse. Full moons are associated, generally speaking, with endings. But with this one, this is connected to the North Node. And the North Node is our mission and what we're supposed to be doing. So yes, there is an ending, but there's also an opportunity to start afresh, start very realistically in a new direction for a lot of you Aries. The 12th house also deals with people from foreign countries, import, export, dealing with people of different backgrounds, people that work in seclusion especially. So again, if you're in any of these careers, expect some breakthrough and big changes associated at your job, at your work, if you are in any of these industries. You may also have opportunities to work kind of behind the scenes, in seclusion, kind of hidden from other people. You may start major projects that are hidden away from other people with this eclipse that bring you closer to your mission. And another reason for that is because Neptune is involved here, but this eclipse is also receiving beautiful sextiles, positive aspects from Uranus, which is the planet of authenticity, but also from Pluto, which is the planet of transformation and the soul progression. So for a lot of you Aries, you may have some reflection on your mission, on what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime, how you're supposed to transform yourself so that you can bring across a new version of you. And you can also change the way how you view yourself when it comes to your self-confidence and self-worth, because Uranus in the second house is really having you go through a lot of situations to where you can increase your self-confidence. And this eclipse in the 12th house is highlighting that. It's bringing for you situations and things that bring the need to love yourself more, to take care of yourself, to take care of your physical body, and to love yourself for who you are. Now, another important transit happening on the same day is the opposition between Saturn in Pisces, which is at 15 degrees, and Mercury, which is at 14 degrees in your 6th house in the sign of Virgo. And Mercury here rules the 6th house. It is very strong, and it's asking a lot of you Aries to take special care of your physical body, of your physical health. That's why I'm mentioning taking care of your health specifically for a lot of you. There is an aha moment that could happen during this eclipse, and especially with this opposition between Saturn and Mercury, that makes you realize that you need to take certain practical steps, realistic steps, to be able to heal yourself from some kind of illness that could maybe even be a hidden illness that you did not think about the root of before. This could also indicate changes at work, communications that you may be having with colleagues that need a certain level of maturity and practicality to resolve. This could also indicate becoming more practical when it comes to scheduling your daily tasks, things that you need to do on a daily basis, so that you can rest a bit more and you can also recover from the daily business and the tasks and responsibilities that you have to run on a daily basis. Mercury also rules your third house, which is a house of communication. So again, this is highlighted very strongly for you, Aries. A lot of communication with people on a daily basis, with co-workers, with people that work at the grocery store, that fill up your car tank, people that you deal with on a daily basis. There is a need here to be for improvement and be more realistic on your expectations. I also want to highlight that this eclipse could also bring a lift of disappointments that you may have been having behind the scenes, and uncertainty. You can gain a clearer picture of your life with this eclipse. Now, on the other hand, the opposite could happen, to where there's certain things kind of happening behind the scenes that you don't really understand, with Neptune being involved here. Eclipses are quite fated in nature and unpredictable, because they are associated with the nodes of fate, and so they could go both ways. They're like full moons in steroids. So they add something to our life, or they remove something from our life. And for you, it's associated with 12th house matters, 6th house matters. Either way, no matter how things go, I just want to point out that this is happening with the North Node and is really helping you redirect yourself to where you're supposed to be going. But we're also receiving positive aspects from Uranus and Pluto, and I feel like for a lot of us, and specifically for you, Aries, you may feel ready to end something and start something fresh, especially again associated with 12th house matters. But this is what I have for you, Aries, for this eclipse. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your life. I always read them, and if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now, I'm offering readings related to vocation and money. Also readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Hello, Taurus suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions. On September 17, the eclipse is happening at 25 degrees in conjunction to Neptune in your 11th house. For a lot of you Tauruses, you may have a new approach when it comes to your long-term dreams and goals for the future. You may decide to be more optimistic, to take a more positive approach when it comes to how you think about the future, where you see yourself in 1 year, in 3 years, in 5 years, things that you want to be doing when it comes to your life. And for a lot of you, this could also indicate becoming more realistic about these goals that you may have for the future, having some kind of confusion and illusion being lifted off completely with the conjunction to Neptune in this area of your life. You may decide to build some kind of plan and become more realistic in the steps that you need to take to achieve something in the long run. To be more practical, more down to earth, more realistic, and to be more mature also in the way how you think about the future and the plans that you have for the future. The 11th house, where the eclipse is happening, also deals with friends and networks. So for some of you Tauruses, you may have a new group of people that you're entering during this time. You may have the opportunity to meet new people, to build new friendships. And this could be individuals that you feel like are more on your tribe, especially on your spiritual tribe with a conjunction to Neptune. This could indicate embracing people that are more original, that also contribute in your transformation, especially at the soul level. And that is because this eclipse is receiving positive aspects from Uranus, the planet of originality, and also Pluto, the planet of transformation. This eclipse again could bring important new groups of friendships and networks, but it could also indicate the end of some kind of friendship group that is not serving you anymore. And that is because this eclipse is a full moon eclipse. So full moons generally are associated with endings. However, when there's an ending, there's also a beginning, and this is especially true because the eclipse is happening with the North Node after all. So there's a need to end something, but a need and desire to start something new. So again, for a lot of you Tauruses, there's transformation happening here in your groups of friends, your partnerships with other people, the networks, the masses, people that you are friends with. Also in social media, with the 11th house being the house of masses of people, a lot of you are taking on different approaches. You are entering your groups and you're ending old friendships that are not serving you anymore. As I mentioned earlier, the 11th house is the house of the online world, where we interact with big groups of people. So for a lot of you, you may be taking practical steps and approaches when it comes to how you post and what you say in social media. And also because the conjunction with Neptune here could be helping a lot of you Tauruses to bring out the right identity and the right image of yourself to the masses so that people can relate to you more. Or it could be the other way around, to where you decide to be more original to the people that you share social media with, because the conjunction of Neptune could talk about some kind of fogginess and confusion being lifted off in the way how you approach to your online platforms and the people that you connect with online. Eclipses are quite intense. They are not very easy. However, they do realign us with our destiny, and especially with this one in the side of the North Node, there could be things being removed from our life, but also things added. And the reason why I'm saying this is because eclipses are like that forward button that we have on videos, that it really pushes us forward into our mission and our destiny. And for you, this is especially true because the 11th house is the house of long-term dreams and goals. This is the house where we study where we want to go. And this is especially important for you Tauruses because you are one of the signs that is asking for a lot of security. And one way how you do that is by looking forward. And so this eclipse is helping a lot of you become more realistic and down to earth in the way how you're going to approach your long-term dreams and goals for the future. Now, there's a lot of focus here in the 11th house, and the South Node in the opposition is with the 5th house, not with the South Node, because the South Node is still in the sign of Libra. But there's an opposition to the 5th house, which could indicate that you may be using your creative skills and abilities to have some kind of new beginning in your 11th house matters. If you are in the industry of dealing with social media again, and organizations, groups of people, communities, dealing with humanitarian work, with financial industries also, there could also be a lot of breakthroughs here, a need to have a lot of change. And for you especially, you're using your creative and artistic abilities also so that you can have this kind of a breakthrough in your 11th house matters. And again, this is because it is opposed the 5th house, which deals with creativity and artistic abilities. Now, for a lot of you, you may also decide that you need to be doing more humanitarian work with this conjunction to Neptune. Neptune at a higher vibration talks about being spiritual and being very generous, helping people, doing service work to others. So for a lot of you, you may decide to do some more humanitarian work and understand that you have a bigger goal than simply, you know, paying bills and dealing with everyday life with the nodes transiting your 12th and 6th house. And so you may decide that you want to take on a bigger mission into your life with this eclipse. Obviously, that's the case for a few of you, but could definitely be a scenario for a lot of your Tauruses. Now, the other important transit that's happening on the same day is the opposition between Saturn in Pisces at 15 degrees in your 11th house and Mercury at 14 degrees in your 5th house. Again, there's a need here to be detail oriented when it comes to your creative skills and artistic abilities, so that you can bring something important into fruition when it comes to your goals for the future and plans for the future. Saturn transiting the 11th house for you has brought a more realistic approach in where you need to be and what you're supposed to be doing with your life. But especially with this transit, with this opposition between Saturn and Mercury, there's a special need here to be smart, intelligent, and take an important detail-oriented approach in your long-term dreams and goals. And again, you could be using creativity and artistic abilities also. For others of your Tauruses, there is some kind of plan that you may be making associated with one of your children. For others of you, you may be planning having a child with this eclipse. You may be thinking that maybe I want to have a child in 1 year, in 3 years. You know, there's a long-term planning here, but with Mercury in the 5th house could very well be associated with children. For others of you, this could indicate taking on some romance into your life, deciding that maybe you can find a romantic partner in your groups of friends. Again, you might be meeting people that are quite fated, that show up as friends into your life, but they could also turn out as romantic partners, especially as these eclipses are going to happen between your 11th and 5th houses as we move forward into 2025. So, you know, there could be romantic partners showing up for a lot of your Tauruses, opportunities to go on dates, opportunities to meet people that again could show up as friends at first, but could very well turn into something more serious. Now, lastly, for some of you, there could be an indication of a child moving out of your house with this transit. Again, it's opposing the 5th house of children. Maybe they are going to school, they're moving away from you, and now you're more focused on your friendship groups and you're kind of reassessing where you want to be in 1 year, in 3 years, you know, in the long-term dreams and goals that you have for yourself. Now, lastly, Tauruses, the 11th house is the house of financial gains. For a lot of you, you may really receive like some financial rewards during this time they could bring you a lot of happiness with a conjunction to Neptune here, or it could indicate some kind of confusion and delusion being lifted off associated with financial gains that you may have for yourself. And, you know, you might have felt like you don't understand something associated with long-term financial goals, but now you may gain that clarity. And again, it could also play on the other side, on the opposite side, to where maybe you don't understand something associated with financial gains. So you might need to take a more practical and serious approach with Saturn being involved here in opposition to Mercury. There's a need again to be detail-oriented, to be down to earth, and take a realistic and practical approach. But I feel like, you know, there's a lot of support happening here from Uranus, from Pluto, to this eclipse. I feel like we have the willpower to make the right transformations and be very realistic, down to earth, original with ourselves on where we want to be going, especially for you Tauruses. And I'm a Taurus rising myself, so I understand. But please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. I'm very curious to know about your lives. Please let me know, and if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now, I'm offering readings related to vocation and money. Also readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Hello dear Geminis, Gemini suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions. The eclipse is happening on September 17 at 25 degrees conjunct Neptune in your 10th house. This talks about important breakthroughs, especially in your career, at your work, at your job. For a lot of you Geminis, you may receive important spotlight to where you're kind of the center of the attention, or this could indicate a need to move from one career to the other. For a lot of you, you may be starting a new career, you may be ending a career, because this eclipse is a full moon eclipse. So it does indicate some type of ending, but it also indicates beginnings because it is with the North Node. So there's a realignment here in your career, your public reputation, and who you're supposed to be known into the world. If you have some kind of authority figure in your life, at your work, at your job, but generally in your life also, then this eclipse could indicate that there could be an authority figure being removed from your life. They kind of move away from you. If you have a boss, they maybe go to a different department. A new boss may be coming in. There are changes here associated with authority figures. If you have had some type of confusion, illusions, misunderstandings associated with your career and what direction you need to take in your life, then this eclipse could very well remove all of that. It could give you a lot of clarity and understanding of who you need to be and what direction you need to take. And that is because, again, there's a conjunction to Neptune, but also because this eclipse is happening between Neptune and Saturn. So the influence of Saturn could also be felt during this time. There's a need here to be realistic, to be down to earth, to take practical approaches in your career, in your public reputation, and who you want to be known into the world. The 10th house is also the house of your public status, and the public status is really what you're known into other people. It's associated with your marriage status, relationship status, being employed or unemployed, having any kind of status in your life. And so there is a breakthrough happening here too, to where maybe you take a relationship to the next level and you get married, or you decide to end a relationship because it's not working for you anymore. There could be a change of status in one way or another with this eclipse. And what is important for you Geminis is that this is happening in an angular house, so expect changes also in your home dynamics, in your home environment. This is happening in opposition to the 4th house of your family members, of your real estate, your home. So this could indicate a very important change that you decide to do that takes your whole life in a new direction, but it could very well be centered around career and public reputation and how you want to be known into the world. This could also indicate changes in your persona, your identity, who you are as a person, but also a change in your relationships, in your contracts and agreements that you have in your life. So this could be, a very, very important eclipse for a lot of you Geminis. If you are in the political arena, if you are in an industry that deals with the public, that is in the public eye, that other people see you, then this eclipse could indicate positive spotlight, especially with Neptune being here. Neptune at the higher vibration indicates somebody who is compassionate, who is liked by the masses, who knows how to bring the right identity into the public eye. So for a lot of you Geminis, if you are in any industries that deals with being in the public eye, then this could be very positive for you. But it could also work in the other side, to where people can really see for who you are as a person. They can be more realistic about your identity and how you show off in the public eye. They can gain a deeper understanding of who you are as a person and how you're known to the world. So it could go both ways. It could go either to where new identity is shown to the world, or some kind of realistic approach is shown into the world when it comes to your status and who you are as a person, and how you want other people to see you. And the reason for that is because eclipses are like full moons in steroids. They are unpredictable in nature. They could go both ways, but either way they are very faded. They are like that fast forward button that we have on videos, to where you click on it and you go to the minute that you want to see. And this is how eclipses are. They fast forward us into our mission, our destiny, and who we're supposed to be. And especially for you, this is very important with this eclipse happening in an angular house. So important changes here in your career and public reputation. For others of you Geminis, if you've been into some kind of spiritual path or religious path that is known to other people, then you could bring important changes here also with the conjunction to Neptune. But these changes associated with your spirituality and your religious beliefs could be, again, in the public eye, that other people see them. If you have some kind of post or calling into some kind of organized religion, then again you could be in the spotlight. You can get some kind of upgrade, or it could indicate that you have responsibilities being removed because it is destined to happen like that. You're really being realigned to your mission. I'm not afraid of eclipses at all. I actually love them because they are difficult, they are intense, they bring something new or remove something from our life, but they really realign us in what we're supposed to be doing. And if you go forward 6 months later, a year later, and you look back to this time, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that totally made sense why it had to happen like that. Now the other thing is that, again, Saturn here is being involved, and I will talk here in a minute about another transit that we have with Saturn at the same time of this eclipse. But Saturn here is asking to be very realistic, to take a mature approach in your career and public status and how you want to be known to the world. Maybe be more mature about posting on social media, on interacting with other people, being more mature in the way how you deal in the public eye when you interact with people that are looking at you, with the masses also. There's a need to be very down to earth here, and to be disciplined, and to take practical approaches with Saturn. Saturn may also indicate challenges and obstacles that you could have had with your career, but the eclipse could talk about having something removed. So it can talk about having challenges and obstacles removed when it comes to your career and public reputation. Now, the other important transit that is happening on the same day is the opposition between Saturn and Pisces at 15 degrees and Mercury at 14 degrees in your 4th house in the sign of Virgo. And Mercury is also your chart ruler, so it's very, very important for you. It rules you, it rules your physical body also. But Mercury here in the 4th house can talk about important conversations that you may be doing with family members that is centered around your career and public reputation, and also your public status. Again, a lot of you Geminis are deciding to change your status during this time, and although it might not happen on the same day of the eclipse, it might happen up to 6 months after. This transit between Saturn and Mercury can talk about becoming more realistic in your emotional world and how you see the world around you, because the 4th house is the house of emotions. For a lot of you, you may be feeling more down to earth and realizing that you have to take certain steps to change something, maybe in your career, in your marriage, in your family dynamics, or in your personality and individuality also. And again, Geminis, you are ruled by Mercury, and you could be the initiator of all of these changes on all of these things. You may have a family member that you need to talk to, sit down and write down practical steps on what you're supposed to be doing, what direction you need to be taking, especially in your career, public reputation, your partnership also, but not only. This is in an angular house, so it's quite important for you Geminis. I feel like there's a lot of breakthroughs happening for you with this eclipse. I am very, very curious to know what might be happening in your life, so please do let me know in the comments below. And if you liked and resonated with this video, Geminis, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe, and I wish you the best of luck with this eclipse. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now, I'm offering readings related to vocation and money, also readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Hello, dear Cancers, Cancer Suns, Moons, and Risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions. On September 17, we have the eclipse at 25 degrees in conjunction to Neptune in your 9th house. This indicates wonderful opportunities to expand your horizons and learn new things. And for a lot of you Cancers, you may have some fogginess and confusion completely lifted off to where you gain more clarity about the world around you, about life, about your belief system, about things that you thought to be in a certain way. And so there could be some reality check here to where you are more down to earth about everything that you've known before in your life. This can also indicate opportunities to travel abroad, to go into some place that could be very healing in nature, very lighthearted and optimistic, with Neptune being involved in this eclipse, and it's happening in the 9th house of foreign travels. For a lot of you, you may also meet people, fated people that are supposed to be in your life, that come from different backgrounds and bring different perspectives to you and to your life. You may have the opportunity to meet people of different cultures, of different countries that speak different languages also, that you may connect at the soul level with Neptune being involved here. You may connect into the source, but also these individuals as like coming from the same tribe kind of thing. The 9th house is also the house of legal matters. So for a lot of you Cancers, you may have some type of confusion or misunderstandings lifted off, or illusions associated with some legal matters. Or it could be the other way around, to where there's something that you don't understand when it comes to some type of legal matter that could show up in your life, and you don't have the clarity to deal with it just yet. That is because eclipses are quite unpredictable in nature, because they are very strong, very intense. They're like full moons in steroids, so they could go both ways. They either add something very important and fated into our lives, or they completely remove it. And what the outcome is, it depends on your choices and also in your personal chart, but it could go both ways, to where you have all these opportunities associated with your 9th house, or you could have something that is being removed from your life. And I don't want it to sound scary. Sometimes we need things to be removed so that we can be realigned into our real mission and what we're supposed to be doing in our lifetime. And what I love about this eclipse is that it's happening with the North Node. The North Node is still in the sign of Aries, but it's close enough to, have an eclipse that is associated with this North Node. And we're really being realigned to our mission, to our purpose, and we're supposed to be doing. Now, the other thing about the eclipse is that it's happening between Neptune and Saturn, so the effect of Saturn could also be felt here. There's still a need to be serious. There's still a need to be down to earth, especially for you Cancers, associated with your belief system, with things that you have been researching about and learning about. For others of you, this can really indicate a serious approach to gaining some degree, higher education institution, to getting into some higher education institution, to maybe travel abroad for school, to be accepted at some higher education institution, to take practical and down-to-earth steps to be able to achieve these things. And the conjunction to Neptune can indicate fogginess and illusions and confusions completely be lifted off, to where you're like, oh wow, you receive an aha moment to what you need to be doing to get in these institutions and achieve these things for yourself. Obviously, that's the case for a few of you, if you're interested in these things, but definitely a possibility for a lot of you Cancers. At the higher vibration, Neptune is associated with spirituality. For a lot of you Cancers, that could be people that turn out to be gurus for you, mentors, teachers, spiritual teachers also, that really change your whole perspective. And these individuals could be very fated in nature. Again, we have the North Node being involved here. That changes your perspective about life, your whole understanding about the world. And they can teach you very important things that are very essential to your spiritual growth and to your spiritual path. Neptune is also optimism, and the ninth house is a net house of good karma. So for a lot of you Cancers, you may really be rewarded here for your past life deeds. You may be rewarded for the things that you have done in this lifetime before, for other people, and now it's coming back to you in a positive way. It's coming back to you through fated events, fated individuals that could be helping you and advising you. This eclipse could also bring breakthroughs when it comes to your religious approaches and beliefs. For some of you Cancers, you may leave a religion, or you can enter a religion that is very spiritual in nature and you have a deeper understanding for it, and you can take really serious steps when it comes to entering this kind of arena and this new path in your life, with Saturn again being involved here. If you are in the medical industry, philosophy industry, if you're a teacher, university professor, if you work with any spirituality and higher knowledge sciences and industries, or if you are in the industry of long distance travel, then there could be an important breakthrough happening in your industry, at your work, in your career, that is very fated and is very out of the blue. For a lot of you Cancers, you can either gain a lot of exposure, or you could be rethinking the industry that you're in, rethinking what direction you need to take in your life with this eclipse. Now, the other important transit that is also happening at the same day, at the same time, is the opposition between Saturn in Pisces, which is sitting at 15 degrees in your ninth house, and Mercury, which is sitting at 14 degrees in your third house. Mercury is quite strong here. It rules the sign of Virgo. It is in the sign of Virgo, and it indicates a need to rethink a lot of details, to reassess your thinking process, your belief systems, to again be more practical and more serious about how you think, about how you communicate with others, but also how you talk to yourself, so that you can change the perspective of your world. There is a very strong need here for seriousness, and hopefully this eclipse is going to bring a removal of illusions and confusions associated with your ninth house matters, so that this opposition between Saturn and Mercury can be easier. But again, there is a need to be down to earth, to think things in detail. Mercury is a very detailed in the sign of Virgo, and Saturn brings that seriousness, the down to earth practicality, and being able to take a very realistic approach to anything in our lives. The third house is also the house of younger siblings, of neighbors. So for a lot of you Cancers, you may have conversations with these individuals that is kind of life-changing and brings you down to earth. You might not have the same belief system with each other, but there is a challenge here so that you can expand your horizons and expand your knowledge associated with anything in the world, because where Saturn is sitting and where the eclipse is happening is the house of research and our belief systems and how we see the world in general. So there's an important breakthrough happening here with the opposition, but also with this eclipse. Mercury also rules your 12th house, which is the house of foreign lands. So again, there is a strong opportunity here to travel abroad for a lot of you Cancers, to even relocate somewhere foreign, somewhere far away. That is again kind of out of the blue, but could really bring a change of perspective of life. So very profound, very transformative. This is kind of what I have for you for the astrological weather for the eclipse Cancers. I really hope things go wonderful for you. Please let me know in the comments about your time during this time, about your life during this time, and if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now, I'm offering readings related to vocation and money. Also, readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Hello, Leo Suns, Moons, and Risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions. On September 17, we have an eclipse at 25 degrees in conjunction to Neptune in your 8th house. The 8th house rules over shared resources that we have with partners or with family members. And for you, Leos, this eclipse could indicate an increase in shared resources. Maybe a partner or a family member does something that increases their income, and therefore it benefits you also in your shared resources. Or it could be the other way around, to where some kind of shared resource and shared finances that you have with somebody else kind of comes to an end. And this end can simply indicate a new beginning, because yes, this is a lunar eclipse, but it is also associated with a north node, which really realigns us with our mission and what we're supposed to be doing, not only in this lifetime, but especially during this time of the year, and up to 6 months after this eclipse. So there is a lot of focus here on shared resources that you have with someone else. And the other thing about this eclipse is that it is in conjunction to Neptune, and Neptune rules over confusion and deceits and lies also. So if you or a family member or a partner have been lying about shared resources and finances, this eclipse could bring those lies into attention and kind of remove any kind of deceits or any kind of confusion and bring more clarity. Now, the thing is that the other way around could also happen, to where this eclipse brings more fogginess and maybe misunderstandings also associated with shared resources. So keep that in mind and make sure to be clear in your communications and the budgeting and the style that you have, the financial style that you have when you deal with a partner when it comes to shared resources that you have together. And the same thing works for investments and dealing with other people's money. If you have some kind of investment, then this eclipse could indicate having any type of confusion associated with it completely removed, or there could be some kind of detail that maybe you don't understand just yet. However, with time you will be able to understand, because again, this is with the north node, so it is supposed to be happening like this. It is quite fated to be happening like this. Again, there could be an addition of investments. Maybe you have more investments at this time, like good and great opportunities to make more money, especially through other people's money, and also with taxes and insurances. If you are in any industries that deals with other people's money, such as a consultant, an advisor, a psychologist, dealing with clients, also some kind of astrologer or in the occult sciences, then this could indicate some kind of breakthrough in your industry, in your business, to where you can attract more clients and also have a lot of clarity that you can receive when it comes to your industry and your business and the way how you approach to these individuals. A higher vibration of Neptune is also compassion and healing. So for a lot of you Leos, you could have serious healing and transformation, especially in your mental health, but also in your physical body, because the 8th house again is the house of transformation. For a lot of you, you may undergo some surgery that could turn out to be really good, and you can receive some kind of healing, but not only physically, but also spiritually, with Neptune being involved here. Again, Neptune at the higher vibration indicates optimism about life. And for a lot of you, you can really face fears and self-sabotaging patterns and traumas from your past, and kind of take a more optimistic approach when it comes to them, and kind of heal from them when it comes to accepting how life is and how things have happened in the past so that you can heal and move on and be more optimistic and really approach to the higher vibration of the planet and the creator and God and other dimension and the universe also. So Neptune really can give you a very strong opportunity to heal, especially at the subconscious mind level. Very powerful transformations could happen for a lot of you Leos. Some other industries that are ruled by the 8th house are banking, being a broker, diagnosing medical conditions, being a financial planner, insurance agent, therapist, researcher, yoga instructors also. If you're in any of these industries, again, there could be important breakthroughs that could be happening during this eclipse. Something can be added to your life. You could receive more clients, more exposure, transformation with this eclipse, or the other way around, to where if you realize that some industry is not working for you anymore, then this eclipse is going to give you that clarity of what direction you need to take and where you need to move towards to. I feel like this eclipse could indicate also shedding off old layers of yourself for you Leos. You may realize that you want to shift your identity and change your identity again at the subconscious level and really reinvent yourself with this eclipse, and you have the power to do so. The other thing about the eclipse is that it is happening between Neptune and Saturn, so the influence of Saturn could also be felt. So there's a need here to be realistic, to be down to earth, and there could be a lot of fogginess being removed with this eclipse also, to where it makes you realize what direction you need to go to and what things you need to fight when it comes to fears and traumas from the past. Again, if you have shared resources and finances and investments with other individuals, then this eclipse could ask you to take practical approaches into being more realistic and having more clarity, like taking practical approaches in the way to where you write things down, you build schedules, you build a plan, you have things step by step with Saturn being here. And again, eclipses are unpredictable, so I'm saying that you may gain a lot more clarity, and I feel like that's going to be the case for most of you Leos. But on the other hand, there could also be more confusion, or there's something that sometimes we don't understand with Neptune being involved here. So it could go both ways, and of course that depends on your personal chart, but also on your personal actions, on what you decide to do. What I love about this eclipse though is that it's receiving support from Uranus and Pluto, which are both asking for authenticity, becoming original, choosing and being real with yourself, choosing what you really want to do with your life and the direction that you want to take, but also deciding to transform and shed old skins. And especially this is very important for you Leos with this eclipse happening in the 8th house, but also with the support that you're receiving from Pluto, that is in the sign of Capricorn. The other important transit that is happening on this day is the opposition between Saturn in Pisces at 15 degrees in your 8th house, to Mercury at 14 degrees in your 2nd house. So there's a lot of focus here on personal resources and finances. Mercury rules your 2nd house, is very strong here in the sign of Virgo, and it's asking a lot of you Leos to make a decision between your shared resources and personal income, on how much money you're putting in and how much money is the partner putting in, and if you are being smart enough, practical and serious when it comes to taking practical and down-to-earth steps with your budgeting and spending money, and the style that you have in the way how you make and spend money for yourself, but also your contribution to shared resources. There could be conversations happening here with Mercury being involved in this opposition that are very serious in nature, again associated with shared resources, shared finances, but also for some of you Leos this could indicate dealing with past traumas and fears that need to stop. You need to remove them so that you can become more self-confident and increase your self-worth and the values that you have within yourself with Mercury being here. So there is a need for seriousness here with this opposition to Saturn, and I feel like for a lot of us we do have the capacity to make smart decisions, with Mercury being the planet of thoughts, Saturn being involved in this opposition, and then during this eclipse, there is a fogginess that could be lifted with Neptune. I feel like that could be the case for most of you Leos. But this is what I have for you for this eclipse. Please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. And if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now, I'm offering readings related to vocation and money. Also readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Hello dear Virgos, Virgo suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions. On September 17, we have an eclipse in the sign of Pisces at 25 degrees in conjunction to Neptune in your 7th house. This talks about important breakthroughs when it comes to your partnerships, Virgos. This is a very important eclipse for you. You could be one of the signs that is the most affected by this. But this indicates a start of a new partnership, and it can be a romantic or a business partnership that is quite fated in nature, is very important, and it is for you to be realigned more to your mission and what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime. And that is because this eclipse is in alignment with the North Node. This can also indicate possibilities of starting some type of new contract or agreement, or it could simply indicate the end of an agreement or a contract that you may have in place. And it may come across as very strong or very intense and like chaotic, that's how eclipses are, that's their nature. But when you fast forward, these things start to make more sense. If you have been in a long-term relationship or marriage that has not been serving you, that has maybe felt like, the other person is too selfish or very self-centered, then this eclipse could indicate the end of it, to where you choose to kind of finish this and move forward with your life. And the effects of the eclipse don't necessarily happen on the day of. They could happen up to 6 months after the eclipse has happened. But this could definitely be a possibility for some of you Virgos. If you've been through something that did not benefit you, then this eclipse could be good news that there's maybe something there's maybe finally an end to something that was not serving you anymore. So again, with eclipses, there could be endings, there can be new beginnings. With a full moon eclipse like this one is usually associated with endings, but I personally think there's also beginnings being initiated here, because this is happening with a North Node after all. So very, very important for you Virgos. The 7th house is also the house of cooperation, and dealing with one-on-one with people. So this eclipse could indicate maybe building some kind of relationship with somebody, and it does not have to be a romantic one, but some certain relationship with somebody else that is one-on-one, that requires communication, open communication, that can also remove some kind of fogginess and illusion also. And that's something very important actually with the eclipse, that the conjunction to Neptune could indicate lies and deceits being removed or exposed. And so if you've had a partner, a business or romantic partner that could have lied to you, then their lies could be exposed during this time. Or if you have been the one that have done these things, then this eclipse could be removing that. Or it could be the other way around, to where maybe fogginess and some kind of confusion could show up when it comes to set up of partnership that you have in your life, or some kind of contract or agreement with this. It's also important, worth mentioning, that the eclipse is happening between Neptune and Saturn. So although it is far from Saturn, the effects of it could also be felt. So there's a need here to be very realistic, to be very down to earth, to take the right practical steps and important approaches when it comes to all of your contracts and agreements that you have in place, but also your partnerships, be it romantic or business partnerships. If you are in an industry that deals with clients on one-on-one, client-based professions, then there could be new clients showing up at your doorstep wanting to become your customers, or the other way around too, where you might be realizing that maybe you're not in the right industry and you may be slowly deciding to move away from it and to become more realistic on what you want to be doing. Again, this is happening in the north node, so it's going to realign you with your mission. If you are in the banking industry, in law, in some type of political career, maybe if you are working in partnership with somebody else, again, there could be very important breakthroughs that could be happening in your industries, in your career, that are fated in nature, but they are very important to be happening. And again, there's deceit being removed here, fogginess is being lifted off, things are getting exposed. But if you've been honest, there's nothing to worry about. But if somebody else has not been honest to you, then all these things could be exposed about them. The other thing about this eclipse, though, that I really love is that it's being positively aspected by Uranus in Taurus at 27 degrees, and also by Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees in the sign of Capricorn. I just said it. But these two are both earth signs, and they're in a positive aspect to your sign. So although there could be very important drastic changes in your partnerships and agreements and contracts, they are really realigning you and making you more powerful, especially because Pluto is now in the last straw of the sign of Capricorn, and it's never going to be there in our lifetime. And so there's something very important ending here for a lot of you Virgos. But this ending is initiating beginning, because Pluto is going to move into Aquarius within the 6-month frame after this eclipse is done. So there's an ending, but there's also an important beginning. And Uranus is also there to give us that authenticity that we need, originality, even a feeling of rebellion and not caring as much, not to take things at heart with this eclipse. If something is removed, maybe we're going to have a bigger understanding of why things are happening the way they're supposed to be happening. So this eclipse has very positive aspects to it. It's a kite shape in the sky, and I really like it. But the thing is that for you Virgos, it's happening in the 7th house, which is an angular house, and it's aspecting you. It's aspecting your first house. So there could also be a feeling of embracing your individuality or leaving the ego behind to put more importance to the partnerships that you want to build during this time. It could go both ways. It could either be that you decide to love yourself more and take care of yourself more and embrace the ego, the things that you want to achieve yourself as your persona, as your identity, or the other way around, to where you decide that a certain partnership or contract is way too important for you. On the same day of the eclipse, Saturn in Pisces at 15 degrees in your 7th house is making an opposition to Mercury at 14 degrees in your first house. Mercury is your chart ruler. It is in the first house. I feel like for a lot of you Virgos, you have that mental clarity to make the right decisions, to be very clear on what you want, and especially with the eclipse conjunct Neptune, if fogginess is going to remove and confusion is going to be removed from your life, you're going to know what direction you need to take. And so with this transit, though, between Saturn and Mercury, this indicates a need to be very realistic, to be very down to earth in what direction you want to take partnership-wise, agreement and contract-wise in your life. Or, again, if you are in any type of business, such as in banking, in client-based professions, if you're a lawyer, if you're in political careers, then you might really be thinking about your persona, your face, your brand, who you are, and how you want to be shown in these partnerships and contracts. There is a tension being created here to indicate a need to be down to earth, to be realistic, to take practical steps and approaches, to be able to have an important breakthrough in your 7th house matters. But yeah, this is what I have for you, Virgos, for this eclipse. I hope it doesn't sound as much serious. It's just that I love eclipses personally. I'm like, please, you know, if something needs to be removed from my life, let it go. And if something needs to come in, like I love the eclipse to do that for me, you know. Because I feel like it makes our life easier, although it may seem chaotic at the moment. But in the long term, it does make our life easier. But this is what I have for you, Virgos, and please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. And if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now, I'm offering readings related to vocation and money. Also readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Hello dear Libras, Libra Suns, Moons and Risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions. On September 17, we have an eclipse in the sign of Pisces at 25 degrees in conjunction to Neptune in your 6th house. This is very important for you, Libras, because the 6th house deals with daily responsibilities, daily tasks, and errands that we need to run on a daily basis. And this eclipse could indicate an addition to more responsibilities in your life, to where something happens and you kind of need to go and do multiple tasks on a daily basis. You become way more busier. Or it could be the other way around, to where certain responsibilities are removed from your life and you feel freer. You feel like you have more time on your day-to-day life on a daily basis. This eclipse is also in the house of your physical health and also your diet. And so this can indicate a removal of some type of illness, some type of sickness that you might have been dealing with for a long time. This eclipse could indicate the end of it, or it could be the other way around, to where something is added and you have some kind of health issue that you have to deal with. So of course, you know, be careful with your physical body, take care of your health, take care of the food that you take, that you eat, but also the workout routines that you do. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, this eclipse is happening in conjunction to Neptune, and Neptune rules over fogginess and confusion. So if you've had some kind of fogginess and confusion associated with some physical health issue, then this eclipse could remove this kind of confusion, this fogginess. Or again, it could be the other way around, to where some kind of misunderstanding or fogginess again could be added into your life when it comes to some type of sickness. Maybe you get sick and you don't understand where it came from, you don't understand why you have certain symptoms and things like that. So please be careful with your physical health, with your physical body during this time. As I mentioned, you know, the 6th house is also the house of the food that you take and also the workout routines. Again, this eclipse could indicate that you might be implementing some new diet into your life, or some new workout routines that improve your life, that make it better, or the other way around, to where you might remove things that you realize are not working for you anymore. And so, you know, you reduce that business that you have on your daily life. And please keep in mind, the reason why I indicate both possibilities is because eclipses are unpredictable in nature. They are like full moons in steroids, so they could go both ways. They either add something very sudden into our lives, or they remove it. Either way, you know, it's unpredictable. It takes us by surprise, but it's very fated. And I like to refer to it as the forward button in a video, to where you click on that and it just takes you straight forward into some other minute. And that's what these eclipses do. They are the fast forward button that realign us with our mission and goal that we have in our life, but also in what we're supposed to be doing right now, with the nodes being involved, you know, in this area of your life. And so the sixth house is also the house of co-workers if you are in the workforce. So for some of you Libras, this can indicate a new co-worker being added to your work environment, or a co-worker leaving the job. It could also indicate responsibilities that you will be taking on with this eclipse that you did not think through that you are going to get, or the other way around, where certain responsibilities are removed from your plate at work, in your job. For others of you Libras, this eclipse could purely indicate a change of career, a change of job. Maybe you're going somewhere else where it's more aligned with what you're supposed to be doing, or you're being removed from an environment that is not serving you anymore, that maybe felt like it was, burning you out. It was too much, too many responsibilities. Especially with Saturn transiting your sixth house, it could really feel like you have the whole weight of the world on your shoulders. But this eclipse again could go both ways, to where it could either remove responsibilities or add more, and it could remove a job, or bring something new for a lot of you Libras. The sixth house is, in ancient astrology, is also the house of open enemies, and so this eclipse could indicate some kind of exposure of an open enemy. They maybe express how they truly feel to you, especially with the Neptune being involved here. Neptune again rules deceit and lies in the lower vibration, and so this eclipse could indicate lies being exposed and said from an open enemy that takes you by surprise, but the spotlight is on these individuals that don't really like you, so you can learn something new about them. Or it could be the other way around, to where an open enemy is now kind of removed from your life. You might get to that higher vibration of Neptune, to where you come to good terms with each other, become peaceful with each other, shake hands, and kind of just let things go and move forward. So again, this could go both ways. Now this eclipse is happening also close to Saturn. It's happening between Neptune and Saturn, so the heaviness of Saturn could also be felt. It could be like you need to take a practical and realistic approach when it comes to responsibilities, and also kind of remove the fogginess, or the lies that you tell to yourself, better said, associated with your sixth house matters. If you are an accountant, an analyst, if you are in the medical industry, in any service industries, if you're a healer, there could be some kind of abruption happening in your industry, at your work, that takes you by surprise, but is very fated. Again, it's supposed to be happening like that. It's realigning you into what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime, but also during this period of your life, because the nodes keep changing with every sign, but they always refer to your natal node. Now another important aspect that is happening on the same day is the opposition between Saturn at 15 degrees in your 6th house to Mercury at 14 degrees in your 12th house. And so there is some kind of clash here, maybe a desire to travel and to go abroad, to go on some type of vacation, but Saturn in the 6th house is asking you to deal with certain responsibilities first. You may realize that there are certain things that you need to do, and especially with this eclipse, these things are going to be highlighted. This can also indicate dealing with self-sabotaging patterns and the more shadow side, especially of your mental health, and realizing that Saturn in the 6th house maybe wants you to take care of your mental health, do more practical things, take care of your physical body, have the right nutrition, have the right foods. This could very well indicate, needing to address your health and especially mental health. For others of you Libras, this transit can again indicate the need to go somewhere else, maybe because you want to get some kind of treatment for your physical body abroad, because Mercury also rules the 9th house of international travel. So taking care of your physical body, eating good foods, organic foods, things like that, that could be the purpose for a lot of you. The 12th house is the house of hidden enemies. So, there's an activation here of people that may not like you as much, but I feel like with this eclipse, these individuals could come more forward and you can become more aware of them with this transit. But this is what I have for you, Libras, for this eclipse. Please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. And if you liked or resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now, I'm offering readings related to vocation and money. Also readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Hello dear Scorpio, Scorpio suns, moons and risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions. On September 17, the eclipse is happening at 25 degrees in conjunction to Neptune in your 5th house. For a lot of you Scorpios, you may receive wonderful, excellent downloads when it comes to your hobbies and your creative abilities. With Neptune being involved here, you can get these wonderful ideas that kind of come directly from the source to where you can implement them and expand your 5th house matters, expand your hobbies, your creativity, and express them very freely also. The 5th house where this eclipse is happening is also the house of children. So for a lot of you, you may bring a new child into life. You may decide to conceive a child. You may decide to expand your family with children during this time. This can also indicate a big change that is happening in the life of one of your children, that it also affects you in one way or another. Maybe they have a big event happening in their lives, and so you are part of it. You learn about it, you know about it also. The 5th house is also the house of joy of life, and with Neptune being involved here, for a lot of you Scorpios, you may feel like there's a lot of things to be grateful for. You may feel like maybe you need to take on a more positive approach, an optimistic approach about life in general, to where you rely a lot to the source, rely a lot to prayer and spirituality, so that you can embrace more positivity with this eclipse. And it can make you feel more joyful. On the other hand, though, eclipses sometimes remove things from our lives. And so if you have maybe a child that's living with you, maybe they are moving out, and you don't see this child as much, maybe they go for school, they live abroad, things like that could happen with the eclipse. It could also indicate that you decide to either take on a new hobby or a creative ability, or remove something that was not working for you, and you decide to take on a new approach. If you have a small business, then this can indicate initiation. This eclipse could bring something new for you, maybe starting a new business or some type of new project, or approaching a new group of clients also. The eclipse could also indicate becoming more realistic about life, which I know you have been doing already for a lot of you Scorpios. The eclipse is happening between Neptune and Saturn, and so the effect of Saturn could also be felt here. So for a lot of you, you may feel like you need to take more practical steps, become more mature about life in general, or it could indicate that you want to remove that seriousness that Saturn is bringing to your 5th house and decide to be more optimistic. For others of you, this eclipse could indicate removing illusions and deceits associated with maybe conceiving children, with having children, or it could indicate removing some type of fogness associated with a project, with a creative project that you have been working on, with Neptune being involved here. The 5th house is also the house of romance. I also want to mention that, Scorpios. For a lot of you, this could bring somebody that is attractive to you, that is very fated, with the eclipse being on the side of the North Node. somebody that is very fated, that could be very important for you, that could teach you something, but also make you maybe more happy, more excited. This could be somebody that is very real, somebody that is very down to earth, or the other side, more on the Neptunian side, to where you get to know somebody that is very optimistic, spiritual, religious also, that kind of takes it to that higher vibration of spirituality. So it could go both ways. You could meet somebody that is very down to earth with the energy of Saturn, or somebody that is very spiritual and optimistic. And you can be somebody that it has both too, by the way. Somebody that has both components. On the other hand, for others of you Scorpios, this eclipse could remove fears that you may have had related to flirting and also romance. This could indicate that you need to improve a thing or two, or change a thing or two about the way how you approach to romantic interests. And it can also indicate that if your expectations have been very high, maybe you need to come down to earth, or to be more realistic with Neptune being involved. And Neptune could remove the rose-colored glasses for a lot of us, including you, in the department of the 5th house. On this same day, though, we have Saturn in Pisces at 15 degrees in your 5th house, in opposition to Mercury at 14 degrees in the 11th house. Mercury is very strong in the sign of Virgo. It rules the sign of Virgo. And so this indicates important conversations that you could be making with friends, acquaintances, your network, people that you know, related to 5th house matters. It could, again, be conversations associated with conceiving a child, conversations related to romance. Maybe some of you will come across somebody in your friendship circle that you start to build a romantic connection with this transit. Or it could indicate relying to friends and acquaintances for help associated with something that could be happening with one of your children during this eclipse. Again, there is an opposition here, a need to be very down to earth, to be realistic, to take practical approaches and practical steps to achieve something. The 11th house, where Mercury is sitting on, is also the house of long-term dreams and goals for the future. There could be a need here to embrace or leave behind a creative ability, a hobby that either we want to approach to, or we want to leave behind because it does not align with our long-term dreams and goals, with Mercury being in the 11th house of these things. I really hope this eclipse goes very well for you, Scorpios. Please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. And if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now, I'm offering readings related to vocation and money. Also readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Hello, dear Sagittarius suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions. On September 17, we have the eclipse in Pisces at 25 degrees, conjunct Neptune in your 4th house. The 4th house deals with family dynamics, home environment, the place that we live in. For a lot of you Sagittarius, you may have a family member added to your home environment, or it could be that somebody is moving out of it. This eclipse can talk about living with more people, or having people again move out. Maybe one of your children that is old enough is moving out, going somewhere, maybe for school. It could be that there's some changes in your home environment with this eclipse. This can also indicate a need and desire to relocate. For a lot of you Sagittarius, you may be relocating Although it's not happening on the day of the eclipse, it could happen up to 6 months after this lunar eclipse happens. And you may be relocating to a place that lets you be more spiritual, lets you connect to God more, and to the universe. It lets you become happier, more blissful, more grateful and joyful about life, with Neptune being involved here. Or it could be the other way around, that if you have felt like you're in a place where you feel confused and not really in good terms with reality, then this eclipse can indicate relocating somewhere where you can see reality for what it is. And another reason for that is because the eclipse is happening between Neptune and Saturn, so the Saturn influence can also be felt. There is something here changing your home dynamics for a lot of you Sagittariuses. Again, it could be about relocation. Maybe you are changing apartments, you're changing houses, cities, countries, moving abroad. This could all be scenarios for a lot of you. Another scenario that could happen for you, a lot of you Sagittarius, is could be related to your traditions, roots, your family history, your ancestry, and the country of origin. There could be something that you discover about all these things during this time that takes you kind of by surprise, that is out of the blue, but that makes you get a bigger picture of life, of reality, and the people that were before you. You can understand more their dynamics, their lives, and their impact that they could have on you with this eclipse. And Neptune here is an outer planet. It's the planet that connects us to the higher God, to the higher dimensions, and it could indicate that you are connecting with these individuals, with people that have passed already, ancestors and people that have lived in your home country. Again, there could be some realization and something that you take in your heart to change the perspective of life, to get a different understanding of the world around you. Another reason for this is because the fourth house is the house of emotions. This is the base of the chart. This is where we base off everything else. So for a lot of you Sagittariuses, there is a shift happening here in your emotional world, to where you either decide to remove some type of illusion in your emotional world and accept reality for what it is, or the other way around, to where you understand that maybe you've been too realistic, too gray, too dark, and you decide to have a lighter heart and embrace and love reality for what it is. Love reality, but also be more optimistic, be more excited about life, more grateful, and connect more to the source with this eclipse. The fourth house is also the house of real estate, realtors, restaurants sometimes, home aesthetics, interior designer. If you are in any of these industries, there are very important changes that could be happening in your industry, at your work, in your career, in your job with this eclipse. So something is shifting here, something is changing that you are feeling at the core level. You are heavily feeling this. What I love about this eclipse, though, is that it's receiving beautiful sextiles from Pluto and Uranus. And Pluto is sitting at the 29 degree of Capricorn, and Uranus is sitting in the sign of Taurus at 27 degrees. They are both forming positive aspects to this eclipse. And this talks about wanting to really transform something. I feel like for a lot of you Sagittarius, not just you, but all the zodiac signs, we may feel like it is time to change something with this eclipse. And although it can be shocking and can take us by surprise because it's an eclipse after all, deep down we feel like we need to make this change to be more authentic about our life path, to be more authentic in how we present ourselves and how we want to show up in the world, and how we want to other people to see us also with this eclipse. I think it is very, very important. And we also have a desire to transform, to kind of shed the last skin that we have related to the Capricorn area of our lives, which for you is the second house. So you may want to build more self-confidence especially for a lot of you Sagittariuses, you may want to shed those last layers of insecurities and traumas and things that could have happened in your past, and kind of embrace a new version of you, to where you come across as more self-confident, more powerful, more magnetic, more attractive to other people also. So, there is support here being received by these outer planets, by Pluto and Uranus, and it's about time to have some certain change, drastic change with this eclipse, which for you again is happening in the 4th house. Another transit that is very important that is happening on this day is Saturn in Pisces at 15 degrees is making an opposition to Mercury, which is sitting in the sign of Virgo. There could be important conversations taking place here associated with the place that you're living in, that could somehow also affect your status or change your status. These could also be conversations related to your career, to your public reputation, to your job, and also with authority figures with this transit, that bring in a need to be more realistic, to be more mature, to be more down to earth, more grounded in your approach in the place or related to the place where you're going to be living, or related to your public status and career. These conversations could be kind of the center of attention of other people also, with Mercury being in the 10th house and the most visible house of your chart, to where maybe you're taking opinions from other people and learning from them and seeing if you should be living where you should be living, or if you need to relocate, or to maybe change your career also with this transit. I really hope this eclipse goes very well for you, Sagittarius. Please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. And if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now, I'm offering readings related to vocation and money. Also readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Hello, dear Capricorn suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions. On September 17, we have the eclipse at 25 degrees in conjunction to Neptune in your 3rd house, Capricorns. And the 3rd house, first of all, deals with the way how we communicate and talk to other people. For a lot of you, you may have thought that you are communicating with somebody in a very maybe subtle way, or kind, or very too people pleasing. And this eclipse could make you understand that maybe that's not the way how you need to communicate with others. It could be that this eclipse is bringing a reality check when it comes to your communication skills and how you relate to other people, and also the way how you build boundaries with them. Some communication skill can be added here or can be removed, to where you can become more relatable to others, and probably also have it easier in building relationships with other people. But the eclipse is happening between Neptune and Saturn. That's why I'm also talking about boundaries. So for a lot of you, you may realize that maybe a certain person was taking the way how you talk to them in a certain way, and now you are deciding to build more boundaries and come across very differently to that person, the way how you talk and the way how you relate to them. The 3rd house is also the house of simply getting news, like getting something communicated to you via email, messaging, phone calls, and things like that. So for a lot of you Capricorns, it could simply be that you receive some kind of news that is kind of out of the blue, very surprising. You were not expecting it, but it kind of realigns you to your destiny, to your mission that you have in this lifetime, because the eclipse is happening with a north node. So there is some realignment happening here when it comes to our destiny. The 3rd house is also the house of a small business, of local business also. So for a lot of you, you may start a new business during this time. You may attract new clients out of the blue that you were not maybe expecting to. It could be that people are coming to you, and it could be because they feel comfortable around you. They feel safe, like emotionally safe, with Neptune being involved here. Maybe you bring some kind of spiritual comfort to these people, to these individuals that may be coming into your life. The third house is also the house of our communities, the neighborhoods. It could be that there are some changes happening for some of you Capricorns in the neighborhood that you're living in. Maybe some family is moving out of, your building or the houses around you, or they're moving in. So there could be some changes happening here with this eclipse that are quite drastic, but also necessary in one way or another. The eclipse is happening with the Neptune, as I mentioned earlier, and Neptune sometimes brings confusion and illusions. So this eclipse could very well be removing some kind of a fog that you might have had in your brain, your thinking process, and the way how you communicate with other people, especially with Neptune, like spending so much time in your third house, Capricorns. But this eclipse could bring the end of it. This eclipse could bring realization in the way how you talk to others and how you talk to yourself, and becoming more down to earth, being more realistic. And I feel like this is very normal for a lot of you Capricorns, because you're generally speaking, you're very down to earth. But this eclipse could highlight those things even more. It could just remove something that could have been confusing you for a while now, and this eclipse could just change that or shatter that completely, remove that completely from your life. But on the other hand, eclipses sometimes bring things into our lives. So it could be that maybe you need to take a more optimistic approach when it comes to a certain topic in your life, because the third house is the house of the thinking process, of the mind. And Neptune being here with this eclipse can indicate the need to take a more optimistic approach and positive approach when it comes to the way how you think and the way how you talk about reality, and the way how you relate to the world around you also. The third house is also the house of short distance travel. So for a lot of you Capricorns, you may have an opportunity out of the blue to get on a road trip, to go somewhere, to travel. That could bring a lot of understanding when it comes to life, when it comes to the world, to God, to the universe, to spiritual matters. That could be a very strong realization happening here in the third house. This is also the house of certifications, of learning skills, of learning things quickly. So for a lot of you, you may decide to start some type of course, online course, get a certification that increases your skill set, to be able to learn more, to be able to be more skillful, to be more knowledgeable in the way how you talk to others and relate to other people. Or it could be that for some of you, you may finally understand how to go about a certification that maybe you were not as clear before about, to be able to start it and learn and get some kind of certification, generally speaking. Now again, this Neptune here could remove confusion, could remove illusions, or it could add them. Keep that in mind. I can't really tell which one of them is going to be. That will heavily depend also on your personal choices and personal chart, of course, but the possibilities of having it go either way is very high here. And eclipses are like full moons as steroids, so they're quite intense, very faded, and I like to say they are like the fast forward button on a video. It takes us very fast, very quickly towards our mission, with the North Node being involved here. But what I love about this eclipse, though, Capricorns, is that it's receiving positive aspects from Pluto in Capricorn, which is at 29 degrees, and Uranus in Taurus at 27 degrees. So Pluto is having that final shot in your identity, in transforming who you are as a person. So the way how you communicate and think could very well be tied to your identity. So you are wanting to have some kind of transformation in who you are as a person, but a way how to do that is by re-alterating or recalibrating your thinking process and realigning your thinking process and the way how you communicate to others. And you may be very well doing so with this eclipse. So this can be very strong and very powerful for you. Uranus in Taurus, it is in your 5th house, and it's also giving you the support, the authenticity that you need when it comes to your creativity and your skill set. So I think you have a lot of support here, Capricorns, to have some kind of breakthrough when it comes to your 3rd house matters. And again, this can feel very intense. I don't want to sugarcoat it. Eclipses are intense. But when you fast forward and you look back into this day, into this eclipse, you realize that things were supposed to happen the way that they happened, because it really realigns you with your destiny. Now, on this same day, another transit that is very important that's happening is Saturn in opposition to Mercury. Saturn is in Pisces at 15 degrees in your 3rd house, opposite Mercury at 14 degrees in your 9th house. And Saturn is your chart ruler. So again, there is a lot of friction here when it comes to your thinking process, the knowledge that you accumulate, and even higher knowledge with Mercury in the 9th house. There could be some clash here. You may be between should I get a higher degree or should I just get a certification? You may be debating this. You may be thinking very heavily about this during this eclipse, and you might be making a choice. For a lot of you Capricorns, I feel like you are moving more towards getting certifications, getting some type of online course that to increase your knowledge instead of going to some higher education institution, just because the South Node is in the 9th house and the North Node in the eclipse is happening in the 3rd house, and it is opposite the 9th house. But this can also indicate a need to address your belief system and transform something associated with it. Maybe come to terms that some type of knowledge you've had in the past could have blocked you from achieving something, and so now you decide to transform it. There is a clash. There's something happening here that makes you question a lot of belief systems and transform them also. Mercury rules the 9th house. It is very strong here. But it also rules your 6th house, and the 6th house is the house of day-to-day work, day-to-day job. This could really indicate a need to transform your daily schedule, daily routine, to have it realigned more to your long-term dreams and goals that let you express your identity and yourself more freely, and let you have the life that you want to have, that you desire to have, with Mercury in opposition to your chart ruler. This is quite strong eclipse, of course, just like any other eclipse, but also because we have the other planets also involved here with the sextiles. But I do think we have a lot of power here to make some important transformation. At least we might feel like, it is about time for something to happen in the area of our lives that Pisces is in. And for you Capricorns, is mostly related to the 3rd house matters. But please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. And if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now I'm offering readings related to vocation and money. Also readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Hello dear Aquarius suns, moons and risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology predictions. Aquarius, on September 17, we have an important eclipse happening at 25 degrees in the sign of Pisces, and for you it's going to be in your 2nd house. For a lot of you Aquarius, you may have very strong and powerful opportunities to increase your personal income, to make your money, to add another stream of income, to multiply your streams of income, because the second house is also a mutable house for you. So you very well have the capacity to increase your personal income, generally speaking. But with this eclipse, it could be that something shows up out of nowhere, an opportunity shows up out of nowhere to make more money, to increase more money. And this can also talk about also confusion being removed when it comes to your spending habits or to where your money is going. There could be some confusion being removed or exposed, or even deceit and lies associated with your expenditures. Maybe you thought maybe you're not paying for a certain membership, but you discover that you actually do, and so you need to remove that or make some changes to it. That could be a very high possibility for a lot of you Aquariuses. This eclipse can also talk about your possessions for a lot of you Aquariuses. You may want to spend more money to buy more things, especially clothes, and to beautify your appearance, to be able to increase your self-confidence also by buying certain things. Or it could be that for some of you, you may feel like you have too much, and you may be deciding to remove a lot of possessions and give them out for charity, with Neptune being conjunct the eclipse during this time. Neptune can also talk about some type of illusion also, or self-sabotaging pattern when it comes to the way how you make money. And it could be that you are coming down to reality and good terms with yourself with this eclipse, in the way how you're making money and where your money is going, and how comfortable you feel within yourself and self-confident within yourself to make money in a certain way, or to increase your streams of income and to become more powerful financially. What I love about this eclipse is that it's being supported by Pluto, that is in the last degree of your 12th house, but also by Uranus, which is in the sign of Taurus. So for you Aquarius, this can be very strong, because the ruler of your chart, Uranus, is supporting this eclipse, which indicates that although there may be something added or removed from your life when it comes to your personal finances, your self-worth, and your self-confidence, you do feel deep down that this change needs to occur. This change needs to happen. It's kind of like it's about time for this to happen. And you may even have the rose-colored glasses removed from your face, from your eyes, to where you need to face reality and the way how you're making money and how you're spending your money with this eclipse. So it could be very important for you to add more money also to yourself. The second house is the house of material desires. So for a lot of you Aquariuses, you may realign your desires when it comes to your possessions in the material world with this eclipse, to where you realize you don't want certain things anymore and you want something else instead. Or it could be that you are coming down to reality, you're coming down to good terms with yourself, with what you want. And another reason for that is because the eclipse is happening between Neptune and Saturn. So Saturn is still there in the second house, trying to make you understand that you need to budget in a certain way, you need to spend the money in a certain way, so that you can kind of mature more when it comes to your personal finances, build a structure, and also be more realistic with how much money you're making and where your money is going. The second house can also indicate a need to maybe fix the teeth, maybe do something with your neck and shoulders, maybe get massages, or understand that maybe you need to do like certain things, certain self-care things that are surrounding these areas, because these are all ruled by the second house. So the eclipse could bring something into attention associated with it. For a lot of you Aquarius, this eclipse can also bring more self-confidence, feelings of more self-worth, and strengthen your self-esteem. Or it could be the other way around, to something happens and you realize that you need to work more, or to work more on your self-confidence, but maybe you realize that you are maybe a bit more sensitive towards certain things in your life, and you realize that you need to work to increase your self-confidence and self-worth. And you are going to be able to achieve this with time, as we are going to have other eclipses in the sign of Pisces. But this is kind of the entrance of this season, of this area of your life. And the second house is also the house of the five senses of comfort and pleasure. So for a lot of you Aquariuses, it could be that you are coming into reality and to understand what you find pleasure in and what you do not. If there's something that did not bring you pleasure in your past and you thought it did, and this is associated with the five senses, you know, a certain smell or a certain touch or something that you put on your skin, some kind of fragrance. Also, maybe you thought in the past that it's good for you, or you know, it made you feel in a certain way. Then this eclipse could bring you into reality and to understand that maybe this was not, you know, very well for your health, or this wasn't as good for even, you know, your mental health during this time. And you decide to remove something so that you can even save money more. You know, maybe there was some certain expense you were doing for pleasure that you think that it shouldn't be there anymore because maybe you're spending way too much money on it. Now, this eclipse is happening opposite the 8th house, and the 8th house deals with shared resources and shared finances that we have with other people. So these topics very well could also be brought into attention with this eclipse. It could be that we are realizing we are putting way more money in our shared finances than the other person is, you know, like a family member or a partner. And so maybe we are removing that personal income from the shared resources and kind of keeping it to ourselves, or the other way around, where we realize we're not putting as much money in the shared resources with this transit, and now we need to do that. We need to add more personal finances into the shared resources. It could also indicate that for some of you Aquariuses, you decide to like take a personal journey when it comes to personal finances, to where you kind of move away from sharing your money and exposing them to family members and telling them how much money you're making and things like that, to where you are more private about it. You kind of hide it from them, and you kind of keep to yourself with Neptune being involved here. The 8th house that's opposing the second house is also the house of fears and traumas and self-sabotaging patterns, like the more shadow side of our individuality. And it could be that for a lot of you Aquariuses, you may kind of have something exposed within yourself, within your personality, that deals with the hidden things in the subconscious mind, where you need to address it and you realize that you need to work towards these things. And it could take you by surprise with Neptune here, kind of removing the confusion or the illusions associated with these self-sabotaging patterns. But it could also help you come down to reality and kind of understand what you need to change, what you need to fix when it comes to the more shadow side of the subconscious mind for you, so that you can stop self-sabotaging yourself, for example, with this eclipse. What I love about it is, as I said, is the positive aspects we have to Pluto and to Uranus. They are inviting for transformation. We do have a lot of power here to be more authentic, to be more original, to embrace our identity, our personality. And you Aquariuses, more than the others, have the power to do so with the chart ruler being involved here. And Pluto being in the very last degree of your 12th sign, finishing up an important cycle in your life, can talk about very, very important, crazy transformation you're deciding to do on your identity. And this eclipse is a very powerful sign that you are deciding to have certain endings at your beginnings, especially associated again with the way how you make money, maybe even your job, your resources, your self-confidence, shared resources that you have with a family member or other people, and also your self-sabotaging patterns and kind of the fears that you may have within yourself. This eclipse for some of you Aquariuses could also indicate a change of career, a change on how you make money. You could realize that maybe you have been nice to yourself and saying, oh, like, I'm making enough money at this job, I don't need another one, you know. But this eclipse could be removing that confusion of Neptune, that rose-colored glasses that Neptune brings, to where you're like, no, you're not making enough money with this, you are worth more. You know, there's this other opportunity that could make you more money. So the eclipse here could bring this into attention for a lot of you Aquariuses, could make you realize that you are worth way more than you think or you have already thought, you know, with Neptune being in the second house for so long. And so you may come to your senses and be like, okay, like I think I need to find another job, or to ask for a promotion, or to increase my income. So this eclipse could really indicate a change of job, a change of career, a change of work, and it could indicate getting something new, or just being removed from a certain job. And it may sound very chaotic and intense and scary when the eclipse is happening, because eclipses are very faded in nature. But when you look at the long run, fast forwarding it does make sense. It will make sense. So I want you to keep in mind that eclipses are like that fast forward button that realigns us with our mission and where we're supposed to be going very quickly and very fast. So I wish you the best of luck, Aquarius, with this eclipse. Please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. And if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now I'm offering readings related to vocation and money, also readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Hello, dear Pisces suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Pisces astrology prediction. Pisces, you are the stars of the eclipse. This is very, very important for you. If you have any placements in the sign of Pisces between 20 to 29 degrees, that you are going to feel this eclipse the most. And it is happening in your first house, and the first house deals with your identity and who you are as a person. This eclipse is happening conjunct Neptune, which is also your chart ruler, and can really talk about a removal of confusion and self-deceit when it comes to your identity and personality and who you are as a person. This eclipse could be making a lot of your Pisces really face the reality on who you are as a person and how you are showing up in the world. You can be dealing with your personal ego also during this time, to where you realize that maybe your ego was in a certain way and some details about it need to be removed, or they need to be changed, or they need to be transformed so that you can be realigned with your destiny and who you are as a person. This eclipse can also talk about changes in your physical body for a lot of your Pisces. If you were confused about your looks, your appearance, then this eclipse could remove that confusion. Could remove also deceits or things that you're telling to yourself that deep down maybe you know that they're not true. And this eclipse could be really helping you remove those things from your life, remove yourself from identifying with certain things, certain patterns in your identity. The first house where this eclipse is happening also talks about first impression. For a lot of you, you may be working or changing the way how you come across to other people with this eclipse, to either you decide to become more authentic and show yourself more original, or it could be that you're twisting your identity in a way that it is more beneficial for you, but it gives out an image of yourself that is different, that is molded when it comes to dealing with other people. And that is because the first house also is in front of the seventh house of dealing on a one-on-one with other people. So this eclipse can really bring changes in your partnerships also for a lot of your Pisces. It could be that maybe a relationship or a marriage that has not been working for you could also be removed with this eclipse. Eclipses are like full moons and steroids, and they are very karmic. So the outcome of the eclipse really depends on your actions, but also depends on the destiny that you're supposed to be going to. And partnerships are a very important role in our lives that align us with our destiny. And so if you had somebody or you have somebody that is not really letting you achieve your mission in this lifetime, then this eclipse could remove that person from your life. or it could be that somebody new is coming for you with this eclipse. It is somebody that is karmic in nature. It does not have to be a bad thing. It could be that is somebody that you had a karmic contract with, maybe somebody that you kind of earned in the past, and they show up in your life, and you could really have important interactions with this person. You could feel faded. You could feel like you've known this person for a very long time. And I've seen a lot of my friends that really can separate from someone and know somebody new during the eclipse season between their first and seventh houses. So for a lot of you Pisces, you may have some very important things happening in your partnerships with this eclipse. Now going back to the first house where this eclipse is happening, this is also the house of your self-image and personal style. So if you are the face of some brand, or if you have a personal style that you heavily identify with as a person, other people know you for a certain thing, then this eclipse could bring something to your attention to where you need to change this up, either to remove something that wasn't working for you or add something new that you feel like identifies more with you as a person. And let's not forget that this eclipse is receiving positive aspects from Uranus, which is the planet of authenticity. And Uranus is in the sign of Taurus at 27 degrees. It is very close, degree-wise, to this eclipse in a positive aspect. But also this eclipse is receiving a positive aspect from Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees. So with this eclipse, you Pisces have a lot of power to transform. You have a lot of power to embrace authenticity. If this eclipse was squared by these planets, it would be very hard and difficult to do so. But we are actually being supported by the other two slow moving planets. So you do have the power to transform and do something different about your identity and who you are as a person. You do have the power to embrace a more authentic way when it comes to your partnerships, to be with somebody that makes you feel yourself, to be with somebody that lets you progress in your soul, with this beautiful aspect to Pluto also, which in my personal opinion is the planet of soul progression. So it's very important for you Pisces to really embrace your authenticity and to stop lying to yourself also. Let's not forget that Neptune is the planet of lies, and a lot of things that we thought in a certain way can be exposed at this time. We might stop lying about certain things, and I'm not saying liar as like in a bad way. I'm saying that with this eclipse we might need to face reality for a lot of things. Some deceit could be removed. And let's not forget also that this eclipse is happening between the planet of Neptune and Saturn. And Saturn is the reality check. Saturn is the reality planet. So the eclipse is happening right between the two. And so there could be some reality check happening here. The other aspect that is also very important, Pisces, that is happening during the eclipse day is Saturn opposite Mercury. Saturn is at 15 degrees in your first house. Mercury is at 14 degrees in your seventh house. And there can be reality checks here with a partner that could be happening. Maybe you may be entering some kind of discussion with a partner when it comes to your long-term dreams and goals that you have for the future, but also their long-term dreams and goals that you have as a couple. Do you still want to remain together? Or if you do, then what reality or what real things do you need to do? What real steps do you need to take your relationship to the next level, or to feel comfortable and to share the responsibilities with this other person? And Mercury is very strong. It is in the sign of Virgo, and it rules the seventh house. So you might need to confront certain things, certain points with a partner during this time. And Mercury also rules your fourth house. These conversations could be with a family member also, to where you come to to deal with some real facts here, some reality check, but also to take on mature steps, to maybe create some kind of budget together, maybe to write down steps on what responsibilities belong to each of you, maybe to write down where you want the relationship to be going to, or your family dynamics, or your real estate, or your home environment. This could be some topics that you may be discussing with a family member during this eclipse. So important things happening for you, Pisces. Again, I do think that we have tremendous power with this eclipse to transform and realign our destiny, because we're receiving support from Uranus and Pluto. And eclipses, again, they are not easy. They are quite intense, but they are fated. And honestly, although they may not make sense at the moment, they do make sense in the long run. And when you look back to some type of eclipse and what they cost in your life, it makes sense why it had to be like that, because we're being realigned to our real path. And the eclipse is with the North Node, Pisces. It is happening in the North Node side. So for a lot of you, you may be really realigned to your real destiny, especially when it comes to your identity, who you are as a person, but also your partnerships, your family dynamics, your career also, Pisces. This is happening in an angular house. You're the most affected sign out of all of them. And I don't want to scare you. I'm just saying that you have some big shifts happening. And eclipses are like a forward button on a video. It just takes you very fast where you're supposed to be going. And sometimes we want to accept that, sometimes we resist it, we don't feel comfortable with it, but they are very necessary for our soul progression to be realigned to what we're supposed to be doing. But this is what I have for you, Pisces, for this eclipse in your sign. Please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. And if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my website, takingyoutothestars.com. Under the services tab is where I have all my services listed. Right now, I'm offering readings related to vocation and money. Also readings focused on your love life, where I can talk about what your marriage or life partner could look like, karmic lessons that you're supposed to be taking with your partner, and also possible times of finding your partner by planetary transit. I'm also offering birth chart readings, positivity chart readings, and also astrocartography and relocation reading. So if you'd like to book any readings with me, you can again do so under the services tab in my website, takingyoutothestars.com.